Celebrating 25 years of impactful journalism. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from Joy 99.7 FM in Accra at digital address GA0993341. It's also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country. It's on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by UMB Bank, UMB Speed Up, Digibank, Let's Go, and Telesol 4G, just a touch. And coming up, SNIT Hospital here in Accra reportedly sent 60 workers, including doctors, nurses, and other staff, to go into self-isolation and quarantine after 2 cases of coronavirus were discovered at the facility. We're live at the hospital with details. Also, we're in Obuasi in the Ashanti region, where officials say efforts to stop the spread of COVID-19 are being met with fierce resistance from residents who downplay its existence and prevalence in the area.
You see, that is what has made them complacent. They don't really believe the existence of the virus. I'm telling you, they think that if indeed the virus, where are the people? They've been asking us, where are the people?
Also, government considers proposals received to open the country's borders.
All these proposals are being considered, and decisions that are in the interest of the country as a whole will be taken.
Meanwhile, some parents express uncertainty about the safety of their children in school should President Akufo-Addo relax restrictions on social gatherings in his next address to the nation.
I have 2 children. I won't feel safe.
They will never be safe because the country, in quotes, we are not safe.
And tomorrow marks 19 years since the May 9th stadium disaster, which claimed 127 lives. Former Asante Kotoko CEO Herbert Mensah, some advice for football fans after recent incidents of violence at match venues.
And later on Spotlight,
the Vodafone most popular song of the year is Total Cheese.
I just want to say thank you to every fan who voted for Fancy Gadam, and to the North, Zagbang, to Kusami, to Bujara, yeah! I love you, why you brown me? I love you, why you brown me?
We're up north to meet Afropop dancehall artist Fancy Gadam, whose rise to fame in the last few years has been attributed to the loyalty of his fan base. Thanks for staying with us. My name is Araba Koomson. Let's start from the Ashanti region, specifically in Obuasi, where efforts to stop the spread of COVID-19 face fierce resistance from residents who downplay its existence and prevalence in the area. The mining town currently accounts for 56 or 1/3 of 189 COVID cases recorded in the Ashanti region. Local authorities say such misconception and complacency have led to breakdown in safety protocols as lives are indeed exposed to danger. My colleague Ohiming Teria has more in the following report.
With 48 cases and 1 death, Obuasi tops the list of 16 of 43 districts in Ashanti region that have recorded COVID-19 cases. Out of the positive cases, 35 were from an enhanced surveillance and 13 from routine surveillance. Despite the surge in cases over the period, residents, especially market women, continue to flout COVID-19 prevention protocols. Obuasi Chief Executive Elijah Adansibona tells Joy News the traders will have to endure repercussions for completely disregarding social distancing.
I've also been going around to inspect the observance of social distancing and other protocols. I've been to the market severally. At first, they were observing the protocols and then the social distancing as well. Until recently, about less than a week, that we realized that people had defied the directives of the president as well as what the assembly also put out, and that brought or that even pushed the assembly to meet and then come out with this press statement closing the market. The overcrowding could also contribute. If there are too many people, definitely the spread will be faster.
A visit to both Obuasi Central A and B markets revealed a disturbing picture of traders lumping up with no regard to preventive measures. A few traders and patrons wear nose masks as they conduct brisk business. The situation here is a concern to both authorities and some traders.
I
support the closure of the market. It will go a long way to prevent further infection, especially in this crowded market. If the closure is to prevent further infections, why not? Residents, especially some traders here, still doubt the presence of COVID-19 pandemic, though we have heard about it. People doubt we have COVID-19 in Obuasi. You have seen it yourself.
Mr. Adam Sebona is alarmed by defiance of protocol amid continued doubt about the reality of COVID-19.
The people of Obuasi think that nobody has died. I mean, we have just one case, death case. And they think, if indeed we have 48, how come only one person has died? You see, that is what has made them complacent. They don't really believe the existence of the virus. I'm telling you. They think that if indeed the virus, where are the people? They've been asking us, where are the people? Show us where they live. But we cannot do that because of stigmatization. If you tell them that, oh, Mr. Simesi has got it, people run away from the person, and some can even commit suicide. So it is something we would never do. But we want the people to know that the virus is real and we should not play with it. We should just be disciplined. Let's ensure the observance of the protocols, and in the end, we'll all be safe.
From Obuasi, for Joy News, Oimintiria reporting.
Let's stay in the Ashanti region because there's heavy police presence at the Asokwa District Court as all is set to hear a case involving one Mavis Brepoor and her boyfriend Patrick Asari, who allegedly plotted to kill her spouse. The two were arrested after they mistook the would-be contract killer's cell phone number for Minshia's divisional police commanders. According to ACP Kwekubua, the two, after planning to kill the husband of Mavis Brepoor, decided to get the services of someone to execute the act, but mistakenly dialed his number. Nana Asensu-Mensah is in court and joins us on the line. Bring us up to speed on proceedings in court.
Thank you very much. As you're speaking now, the case is still underway. It just commenced, and I'm here at the Asokwa District Court. As you said, there is heavy police presence here. I can count at least 20 police personnel, including the community police. And then before I left the courtroom, that's the courtroom too, the two lovers were standing in the court witness box, and then the case had commenced. So the chief, the regional JUPO, started interrogating them, and then also cross-examining them to tell them the reason police has arrested them and then has brought them to court. So before leaving the courtroom, the case has just begun. If you ask me to bring you up to speed, this is what is really going on here at the Asokwa District Court.
All right, Nana Asensu-Mensah is our court correspondent following that case in the Ashanti region. Let's go to our top story. Now, Joy News is learning the SNIT hospital in Osu here in Accra has ordered about 60 workers, including doctors, nurses, and other staff, to go into quarantine after 2 cases of coronavirus were discovered at the facility. The 2 were reportedly brought in separately and admitted for other conditions, but upon suspicion, samples were taken for testing after they had been in the facility for almost a week, and it turned out to be positive. Well, head of our health desk, Fred Smith, is at the hospital and joins us on the line with details. Fred, can you confirm the reports we are picking that the 2 cases of coronavirus were discovered at the facility? Hello, Fred. Unfortunately, we've lost Fred, but the news is that the SNIT hospital here in Accra has ordered about 60 of its workers, including doctors and nurses, to go into quarantine after 2 cases of coronavirus were discovered at the facility. We will be bringing you details much later on. Moving on, 9 out of 30 persons who tested positive for coronavirus in the Volta region have been discharged from the isolation center following their recovery. 6 of the recovered persons were part of some illegal migrants or immigrants intercepted at the Ghana-Togo border in Aflao, hence have been handed over to the Immigration Service for the appropriate legal action. The Volta Regional Deputy Director of the Ghana Health Service in charge of public health, Dr. Kwesi Jokoto, has been speaking to Joy News on the recoveries.
The region started with 9 cases about 4 weeks ago. 6 of them were quarantine cases in Ketu South. We did contact tracing. We followed up on 521 of them. And then after that, 19 of them tested positive. So together with that and three more cases we picked up from surveillance, our total case count in the Volta region is 30. Out of the 30, 9 have fully recovered and they have been discharged. Before you are discharged, we do 2 consecutive tests. If they are negative, then you can go home. We properly counsel all the clients that we have. Even before they come, they sit down with a psychologist. They are taken through what they would potentially face. Then before you are discharged, you are taken through the same thing so that we give you enough psychosocial support. Now, stigmatization is one other hurdle that we have to clear. So what we do is to engage properly, understand that now that they have been cured, there's no potential of them spreading COVID-19 to anybody around them.
So that's Volta Regional Deputy Director of the Ghana Health Services in charge of public health, Dr. Kwesi Jokoto. Let's go back to our top story, which is that the SNIT hospital here in Accra has ordered about 60 workers, including doctors and nurses, to go into quarantine after 2 cases of coronavirus were discovered at the facility. Head of our health desk, Fred Smith, is there. He joins us with details. Fred, what can you report?
Well, Araba, the hospital has confirmed the incident to us. 2 of their patients tested positive, and they have been in the wards and have been given treatment by their staff. And so they have done contact tracing and have identified all staff who they believe may have been exposed as a result of these positive cases at the facility. They've been told to stay home, but our information is they are about 60. The hospital does not want to put a number to this, but in all, we do understand about 60 of them have been. So what they're doing now is to transfer all patients from that facility who are on admission to their specialist facility, which is less than 5 minutes away from the Osu Oxford Street branch, into the Cuckoo Hill branch, where they will be taking care of OPD cases, and emergency cases are also being transferred to the Cuckoo Hill branch and the other branches across the city, so that they will be able to have that space for fumigation. There's a notice as I approach the facility indicating that the fumigation will take place on Saturday and on Sunday, and the hospital will reopen on Monday.
Fred, earlier we had received reports suggesting the hospital is having challenges relocating the patients to other facilities like Kolebu and Ridge because these places are full. What can you tell us about that?
Well, that information has not been confirmed. What I know from the PRO says is that the patients who were on admission have already been transferred to the specialist facility where I am speaking to you from at the moment, and the OPD and emergency cases are now being transferred to the specialist facility. There's no indication of this difficulty, Araba.
And we also understand that some of the healthcare persons are anxious because it's been more than 72 hours since their samples were taken for testing after being asked to self-quarantine, and the results are still not back. What are you able to tell us regarding this information we're picking? Well,
indeed, the staff who were identified, some of them cleaners, doctors, nurses, and others have all been told to self-quarantine. Unfortunately, not all of them can do so. A particular one that I came into contact with says he lives in a room with 4 other people, and that's all he can afford. And so he's either sleeping out or sleeping in and letting the 3 to sleep outside. That's the difficulty for this. Of course, there are some, like the doctors, who can't provide the facilities for this isolation. At the moment, the results will be crucial in determining whether these staff are positive or negative. so they know what to do going forward.
All right, many thanks. That's head of our health desk, Fred Smith, with those details. And the news is that the SNIT hospital in Osu here in Accra has ordered about 60 workers, including doctors, nurses, and other staff, to go into quarantine after 2 cases of coronavirus were discovered at the facility. We will be following this closely and bring you details as and when. Now, even as Ghana is preparing to take delivery of herbal medicines from Madagascar purported to be the cure for COVID-19, a Ghanaian-based herbal medicine producer, Amen Scientific, has been making claims of producing a cure for the virus. Dr. Amen Bonsu of the Amen Scientific Herbal Medicine Center in Accra says they have produced drugs which have proven to be effective in curing the disease. He spoke in an interview with Roland Walker on the AM show on Joy News.
COVID-19, since it came, we also have done the rebels, what they call it, research into it, and see how we can manipulate all these medicines and see how we can also go about it. Thanks to God, some people who fall on it and they have the symptoms, to the extent that in USA somebody was on oxygen for 3 days. By God's grace, when it got hold of our medicine, now he's okay. That the difficulty in breathing, coughing, and all the symptoms now by God's grace has been relieved. He has been relieved of all the symptoms. Now the one of them who early used it, as I say, I have this. We brought it from US. He tested positive and now he's negative. So we believe that if you work effectively on our medicine, the whole organization GAFRAM has sent about 32 photos to the ministry to be used in our medicine, including mine, which I'm talking about now. And so if the country would have been a bit fast and listening to us, especially, and have been involving us in the whole process, I think you will have been the first even to come out with medicine, rather not Madagascar.
So that's Dr. Amen Bonsu of the Amen Scientific Herbal Medicine Center in Ghana, speaking to Roland Walker on the AM Show News on Joy News earlier this week. Now, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Aboagye, says the FDA will first have to do an independent assessment of the drug that they've requested from Madagascar before a decision will be taken. Meanwhile, the African Union is in discussion with the Republic of Madagascar to obtain technical data regarding the safety and efficiency of a herbal remedy recently announced by Madagascar for the treatment of COVID-19. Here's Dr. John Nkensong. He's Director of African Center for Disease Control and Prevention.
We, the African Union Commission, under the leadership of Excellency Commissioner Amira, and I met with the ambassador or the representative of the Embassy of Madagascar to ask for an opportunity to understand more what the remedy is about, and thirdly, to invite the scientists from Madagascar who are driving this process to join our technical working group, which is the African Task Force for Coronavirus Preparedness and Response, so that we can better understand what they've done, what the remedy is about, and they can share data with us. We are looking principally at 2 things. We are looking at safety data, and that they have generated. Secondly, we are looking at efficacy data. What exactly did they do? We know that Madagascar has very competent researchers, very competent public health experts, and we are sure that and convinced that in the coming days they will join, they will take our offer, and we'll sit down and look very carefully into what was done and what the results and outcome was, and then we'll be able to understand and make the appropriate recommendation.
Dr. John Nkensong is Director of the African Center for Disease